watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
Hello, how are we all? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, good night, hopefully not goodbye, hopefully you're sticking around wherever you are in the world, however you are choosing to listen to us, whether it is catch up on the podcast or if it is live joining us all over on YouTube. Welcome to LTID TV 1, where we are here to discuss the the prediction show, where if you're a part of the Predictions League, you're eagerly awaiting to see some updates. And if you're in it for the fun, you're just willing to show us all up with your amazing prediction skills. How the devil are you all? Let me know in the comments section down below. Yes, Chris's catchphrase. I'll just pinch that off him. He'll probably give me a warning for that. We are here, and as it says there, this Prediction League show is sponsored in conjunction with Steve Lynex and his Foxy 7 clothing range.
The Prediction Show from Leicester Till I Die TV is brought to you by ex-Fox Steve Lynex and foxy7clothing.co.uk.
Back of the net.
Indeed, which is what a lot of you seem to be hoping for with some of the predictions that you've got in. Now, unfortunately, we do not have Steve with us again tonight, which leads me nicely on to telling you what will be changing here. Only slight change. For those of you that love this prediction show, you may need to set your alarms a little bit later, because we will be changing it to 9 o'clock as of next week. And the reason for that is Steve really wants to be on this show, but with his work scheduling at the moment, you have to appreciate that he's a celebrity in the Leicester world. But we're going to accommodate for that and try and make it a bit easier for him to get home, get himself ready so he can be on here. Because tonight we are joined by a very special guest. Just unfortunately for him, it's how you use the word special that defines whether it's good or bad. We are, of course, joined by the hostess, the second mostest, because this handsome chap's a better host. We all know it. We don't tell him that. He can't hear me in the backstage. It's okay. It is, of course, our Lord and Saviour. It is the content creator, Chris. Chris, you are stepping in for Steve, and you've got the joy to give me 2 predictions tonight as well, because I need yours as well. It could be you, as the lottery said. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello. I am well. How are you?
Oh, yes, Craig and his lovely echoed, and apparently everybody could hear him except for us two that were on. Oh, dear, that was something. You know why we didn't hear the echo, though, Chris? It's because me and Craig are just not on your level. We're too elite.
You know what? I'm Premier League. I am elite. I am proper elite. No. I am Dorinda.
I'm going to take that one down as well.
I knew you was going to take that one down. I think I need the bell end button putting in. You've left me with my unofficial favourite button on me to press.
I've decided it is time to move on. We are going to be bell endless now.
Okay, fine. I'll find a new insulting button to go.
I think there should also be an intro that doesn't say Chris. That I haven't got Brad, unfortunately. Brad is not a name that was chosen. When I go on to the thing that where I get these clips from, there wasn't a Hello Brad available.
Do you know what's weird, Chris? Right, I think you're right. You're very right. Yesterday's show with Craig, I had a little bit of a blur moment because that video plays, and obviously we hear it all the time here on LCID TV, and it becomes something that you kind of, it's like learning a song lyric, isn't it? It plays over and over again. You kind of know what to expect. And I kind of in my head went, "Hello, Chris," and it went silent, and I was like, "So good job this video's kept me muted. Otherwise, I'm going to think that's some fancy new technology." I was just waiting for it, and it didn't say it. So there is one you've uploaded that doesn't have the Hello Chris part, but this one did. But you're here, so it kind of worked out in your favour, didn't it?
Well, I was wondering whether the fact that we could hear Craig twice was just in case he was muted, like seems to be the norm. I thought, well, he's covering himself.
Well, yeah. The host is special talents, isn't it, Chris? You do it, I do it. Didn't take me long to pick up these special powers that we have. I can't believe it. And it's the first time.
Like you said before, Brad, it depends how you define the word special.
Exactly, my friend. And, well, I don't disclaim the fact that my special is very much a case of Tideway Twitchy special. So there you go. But for those of you that are thinking, where else can I go and see these wonderful people at work? I have sneakily plugged it right there, shamelessly. There is all our social medias that you can see, all the way from YouTube and Instagram.
Word, Brad.
Wow, I know. I try. I try and be big words.
DSS are listening. Don't say work.
Okay, well, the way we do this hobby, if you want to say how we do this hobby, this wonderful hobby here, make sure you go and check us out and support us during that. So after my lovely shameless plug, we will get on with this show because
you didn't. I used to have a pet lizard once. It was a gecko.
I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just grow in hatred for that joke that you use again.
I did actually earlier on. I went and bought a chameleon. I've lost it. I'm back on the radio as of Monday morning, guys, if you want more.
Yeah, good. Fuck off back to the radio. We get rid of him. We'll start doing morning shows just so we can praise the Lord. He can't come in and interview in the studio if we go on Surrey Hills. No.
You don't have this much fun with Steve.
No, that is very true. You do bring the banter. Before we get going, because tonight you have the double duty responsibility. You're pulling double rank tonight, aren't you, Chris? Because not only are you filling in for Steve.
It's been a few years, Brad, I'll tell you.
I know. Well, never forget how it's all done. You've not just got the job of Steve, because in my infinite wisdom of getting everything prepared and written up tonight, and you guys need to appreciate, right? There is 15 people in this league. Just wait there. What's this button do? There we go. Anyway, there's 15 people in this league. There's now 14 because Chris has just been sacked. Don't get a show. Don't put one of us in. You get. Oh, just once will you let me have my moment? So you're just never allowed to have my moment. I'll do it when you're not here next. It's all right. But no, I have to write these out, and whether I write them out or type them out, it wouldn't matter. I have to write these pictures out 15 times in a row, and I have to write down and make sure I've got a way to track them. So I hope you do appreciate all this hard work I do, because I'm moving from wisdom. Before he rips me to shreds for it, I may or may not have forgot to pass these on to Chris to do. So he's got to do his own tonight as well as Steve. So he's got to really think outside the box.
I did send you my predictions back.
You probably did, and if you did, then you can read them out anyway.
You did send me a thumbs up.
Right, well, I can't find them, so you can do the joyous job then of not only that, but you can tell the people what it is you predicted to make it a bit more fun, so they can tell Chris. If anyone thinks that you're just copying homework and helping an old friend out, they know that you're not, and you can prove that. As we say hi to, I think it was Highfield there, whose comment I popped up. Just quickly though, before we get into the first game, because it's one that I'd missed, but I thought I definitely saw when I started going. We've got Birmingham versus QPR, but whilst you're thinking Tell everybody what's your thinking of this game. We're a bit more into the season now, Chris, aren't we? You know.
Do you not want to look at the table?
No, what table? I haven't finished editing that, mate. No. What table? It's not like I'm bottom or anything. I wouldn't. I tell you what, though, Chris. Being as you want to be so Jeremy Clarkson about it, why don't you bring up the table and go through it for everybody? Well, I just casually, lovely bring up some comments and acknowledge our lovely audience and watching.
The fact that I haven't got it saved. That table, do you mean?
You mean that table that you asked me to send over because you was going to deal with it? It's not easy being this lovely, is it, Chris? It's not easy.
To show off your position.
No, for God's sake. And they say two idiots can't make a smart man. Well, they can't clearly in this case because you got us two. You said, "Oh, send me over the table, mate." Yes, I said, "Yeah, we'll do, mate." You said, so we haven't got a table to show. Oh. It's not live.
Make a strike, I'll tell you.
Well, that's very true. But all I can say is it hides my embarrassment.
Oh no, I mean, not going to say that I'm not going to bring it up.
Oh, I'm sure you will, mate. You have every reason to, but I'd rather you didn't. But he's going to, isn't he?
I've done it. I've done it. It's there.
It's there. It's almost like he had it ready, and it's not live. We can cut this out. It's all right, mate. I'm going to get rid of Doug's comments. In fact, can I get a bigger comment? In fact, Doug, can we just cover who's bottom with Doug's comment? Please. No. See.
No.
Well, I went back to being world's strongest man, didn't I, Chris?
You did actually say at one point you weren't bottom anymore. And that's why I didn't do anything with it, because I thought, oh, he sent me an old table here. But, well, obviously not. I mean, the man that was supposed to, he won. When it was a 3-man contest, you were bragging. Now it's sort of 15. We're struggling there, Bradley.
Well, I don't know who Bradley is, but Bradley's definitely struggling.
Bradley's going to be the player that's going to be bottom, and until he improves, he's forever going to be Bradley.
Oh, you'll get no responses out of me if you keep that up. But yeah, I mean, look, it's early days. I'm going to do a Nottingham Forest. I'm going to sit at the bottom for a bit, ponder what's going on, and then I'm going to start turning up and predict them all. What may have happened is I think the word karma is what I'm looking for, because I think karma struck me very well, because I did that bragging about coming off the bottom of the table before the midweek games, and then I proceeded to not score many points at all. In fact, if I remember my old total to the new total that is on the screen now, I got a whopping 4 points. So, and I think one of them was a correct result. So that doesn't say a lot about how well it went for me in the midweek. So
I've got to say that I'm glad I got some cream for my neck, because I've been looking down at you that much, mate, that it's really, really hurting.
Oh, we'll see when you do a Brendan and bottle the top 4, and I come crashing in to take it off you like Liverpool did to Leicester. Then we'll see what's happening. We'll see what's happening.
I'm only literally one correct score off Champions League here.
You are, but I think you're under financial fair play investigation by UEFA, which would be the leader of the group, the one that runs it. And I see some suspicious activity on the accounts here that definitely haven't been Tipex and changed. And it looks like some of the points you've been given may have been wrongfully awarded. I might just dock you 20 points.
Well,
I might not.
You are the one that's awarding the points, so you're going to have
No. I have a team of workers to do that. I'm totally not desperately trying to claw you back down at the bottom.
No. And can I just say, Steve, good evening. Have a shit week for me, will you, mate, to let me get in the top 3?
Yeah, you know what, Steve? It is the likes of Steve and that every time. Now, I spoke about this backstage, and we've just seen one of his lovely jokes go up on screen. I told you, bro, must be desperate for some points because he says that you're better than Steve.
I like that, man. Give him an extra 2 points.
No. Doug, who's telling a joke here. Doug, do you have a lot of horseshoes up your rear end? Do you have a lot of 4-leaf clovers in your bedroom or something? Because, Doug, you had arguably one of the worst couple of weeks you could have had in the Predictions League. And maybe it's the grand gesture of all the previous weeks, but working out well for you. Because in the space of about 20 plus games, he has gone. He's gained 15 points from 2 weeks worth of full fixtures, and yet somehow, by hook or by crook, he still kept hold of first place. I mean, congratulations, Doug. You have, I think, had first place in game week 1. We are now on to game week 8, and you still somehow have it. It's impressive.
I'm trying to say, for everybody else, karma is a bitch, and it does come back. But in probably about 5 days or so, we could be looking at every night when we go to bed and put our head on that pillow, we know we're probably going to get at least sort of 5 or 6 hours decent sleep. Doug, I'll give him about 35 minutes and I'll be, yeah, and all the baby tea and all the nappy changes in the middle of the night and the getting up and the baby feeding the baby and taking your turn. Oh yes, revenge will be will be nice.
I was going to say, and the crying won't be from the baby; it'll be from Doug trying to get some sleep. But yeah, it will be. Maybe it'll affect his predicting brain.
Tell you what, these days the dads have it easy. They get a week off, don't they? Never in mind.
Wow.
When I was a lad, a lad, and men were men. We had baby. We went to work next day. I'll tell you.
I mean, I feel sorry for the child in the sense that he's going to have to put up with a dad that does this to him regularly, and that is tell these sort of jokes. My obese parrot has died. Sad, but it's a huge weight off my shoulders. I mean, that poor child, when it arrives, has got to listen to a dad tell that sort of jokes for the rest of its life.
And he's also got to hear those jokes in a Scottish accent.
Well, yeah, so he's got to ask someone to translate it for him. That's going to be even worse for the child.
Yeah.
And it's contagious because Steve Smart here has gone, how do golfers like their socks with a hole in one? There's one for you, Doug. I think Doug's probably used that about 4 times. So that's a common one we've seen. And then last, but by no means least, to catch up with the comments to round them all off, is he who says, yo. Yeah. Right then, Chris, go on, bugger the league table off now. I don't care. No one cares about it.
Are you sure? Do you want me to take that down?
No, you can take it down. We've got lots to do and not much time to do it in, Chris. We've got a very, very busy show. We don't have time.
If anybody wants me to bring it up at any point during the show, just stick it in the comments. I've got it ready.
No. But I tell you what, I will do a gracious deal with them all. We'll put it in some lovely framework, Chris. Well, you know, the lovely framework that you always put it in. That I used to put it in for the show. And we'll post it on the Facebook group. That's where it deserves to be broadcasted, doesn't it? So them lot on there can see how well you're doing.
There is a delay at your end with this.
There is. I hate the delay because when I press them, I'm like, don't speak, don't say anything because it's going to play in a second. You guys start laughing and then it plays on my bloody screen. I'm like, for God's sake.
Because you're bottom. Does that mean...
If this shit go down, I ain't going down with y'all.
Does that affect you?
I give up. Stop bullying me. Let's go on. Birmingham versus QPR, Chris. I haven't got yours written down, so I need to find them out somewhere. You can tell me yours afterwards if you want.
I've got them up on screen. I'll dig you out the hole.
I know. I'll tell you what. When we said the roles would get reversed, they weren't half kidding, were they? You know, I was digging you out the hole when you're hosting, and now it's you doing it for me. Birmingham versus QPR, very up and down in the form. Game week 8. You know what? I'm losing the will to live, Chris. Get us started. Where do you see this one going, and how are you predicting it?
I'll give you. Do you want mine first or Steve's first? What's easiest for you?
I've got yours bookmarked, so we can go for yours.
I have got this as a 1-1.
1-1. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But what are you going for, Steve? What do you mean 7-7?
I mean, Birmingham at the moment, they're up and down, aren't they? They've played 7, won 3, drawn 2, lost 2. QPR, one of the favourites to go down. They struggled last season. They are in 20th. At the moment, I mean, Swansea, Wednesday, and Middlesbrough are doing bloody awful, aren't they? So that's why they're there. They've only won 2. For Steve, I'll go for a narrow 1-0 Birmingham City win.
You're going for a 1-0 Birmingham City win. Right, the reason I put this comment up is not because I think it's hilarious or funny. It's because somebody forgets that they're insulting the person with all the power in this league. So, Steve Smart, minus 20 points. Right, I've just noted that down because...
What Steve's got to remember is that he's actually one place above me. So you go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We're in agreement. We're in the UEFA Council of the Predictions League. UEFA has spoken. So no more shit like that. You'll get a letter in the post. But yeah, I mean, normally what I'd do at this point is go through everybody's, but I'm such a nightmare and such all over the place that I actually haven't written you all in alphabetical order. So we're going to crack on because I'm writing down 2 predictions and Oh, here he comes. Yeah, Mr. Anthony, you're in trouble, Mr. Anthony. I mean, you're not. You're not.
Late, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, but 24 and a half hours late. It's only better late than never. At least he's turned up. Well, at least he's there.
With builders in Bristol.
Wow.
Yeah. Can he fix it? He can, but day late.
Yeah, he'll get the quote wrong and the job's done, but there you go. I mean, I don't know about his digestive system, but I think he might have a bit of a cold, Doug. I don't think there's any reason to call you bungle, though, is there? Chris is saying you sound slightly bunged up.
During my time, I have been called worse. I was not well at the weekend start of this week, which is why I did cancel a couple of shows. So Neil's quiz will be coming up in a couple of weeks. That should have been on Tuesday, and Brad very kindly took over the hosting of the debate show on Monday. I'm just coming out of it at the moment, I think. So,
well, it's good to have you back up and running, and of course, you made a speedy enough recovery to give the wonderful people the watch along for the Norwich game.
Well, I went straight to bed after that.
I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. You did sound like you were just on the rough end of it. But speaking of a team that isn't on the rough end of it, Ipswich Town, who by goal difference we have the notable edge of in the league, 3rd place at the moment, level on points with Leicester. Blackburn have had a few weary results, but they are up there where most people expect to see them in and around come the end of the season.
Yeah.
But Ipswich at home are really good, Chris. Cooking steak and chips, what for? For 7 days, for 24 and a half hours? I don't want your steak if it takes you that long to cook, mate.
Cooking steak the whole cow.
Yeah, bloody, yeah. And the rest of the herd, by the looks of things. Yeah. Ipswich versus Blackburn. 2 teams in good form. Like I said, Ipswich for me at home. You know what? I'm going to start making this interesting as well, because I can tell you, because I'm bottom, might make you help you change your mind, but I've gone Ipswich to win this one 2-1.
Wow. Okay. Well, because I'm doing mine first, it does make me easier in actually coming up with something different for Steve. I've gone, well, Ipswich are a surprise to me. Well, both these teams are, because my shows I know absolutely sweet FA about football, because I didn't think Ipswich would be doing this well. And I thought Blackburn would be doing better after last season. But Blackburn's off-field activities possibly having an effect on them. Ipswich doing really well. They got the manager that I would have liked had we not now got Enzo. But for me, and you'll notice for my predictions, not Steve's, for my predictions, that there is a theme going through tonight. And I'll just see if you notice it at all.
Are you sitting on a fence?
Well, I have actually gone for the first Desmond of the night.
He's gone for a Desmond. He's backed his 1-1 from the Brum game and gone 2-2 for Ipswich and Blackburn.
But for Steve, I'm going to... Oh, I was having a poo, wasn't it? Steve, yeah. I'm going to go for a Blackburn 2-1 victory.
Oh, you're going for a... I wouldn't say an upset, but it would be a little bit of a stir
Because
for
I
the
want
fixtures.
that result because mine
Because we got
are
for
what I
Leicester.
think because I want the most points in the league. But Steve's with what I want to be best for Leicester.
Very nice, very good way to do it. I like that because I think Steve's secretly working late on purpose after the last 2 seasons because he's been doing rather well. Well, I say rather well. He's only a result away from being bottom,
I've
but
got his cap on in sympathy of him.
that
Though.
that does explain everything. That does explain everything. I mean, Scott is not thinking the way of Steve or the way you're thinking for Steve, if you will, but he has gone for an Ipswich 1-0 win.
Yep.
Which, as long as Leicester win their game, would still keep us second. And at this point, it's not pivotal. It's just preferred if we can open up a gap between us and third, isn't it? Really, I mean,
there's a gap between us and fourth. I think it is, isn't there?
Yeah, it's 5 points already. Yeah, it is. I think it's.
Yeah.
Is it 5?
Mind the gap,
Yeah.
as they say.
Very, very, very true. So, this fixture. This fixture. Well, you've got the manager Saka's FC away to American Dream Leeds United. I know they're no longer that manager, but I'm a bitter man, and I will keep hating on Leeds for the sake of hiring an absolute moron in charge of the club. It just matters to me.
Leeds manager is at Leeds now.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Is it?
No, it's not.
Is it? No, it's not. Is it? We asked him that. It's not. Is it?
Is it? No.
Yeah, it's not. Not. Is it? Is it? Oh God. You. But anyway, moving on. Is it the ex Norwich manager Fark or Daniel Fark?
Okay. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, well remembered, sir. Well remembered.
It is, and God knows who it is at Watford because it doesn't matter. By the time, even if I search his name, he'd probably get sacked within half
I'm
hour.
going to say by the time this goes out live, it's going out live now, but by the time the show's finished, it'll be somebody else anyway, won't it?
Yeah, no doubt. But Leeds picking up a bit of form. Watford are doing Watford things. They seem to be good, and then they seem to struggle.
Yeah, they're in ninth, aren't they?
They've picked up from that dodgy start, haven't they? Yeah, they are up there. And
they got players that refused to play for them before, and there was all sorts of trouble, wasn't there, off the pitch?
But
they've not lost in 5. But Watford have lost the last 2.
Yeah, well, it's very like it's very top and tail of what they've been doing, isn't it? Because Watford had a good start, Leeds were tragic, and everybody was beating them, and now they've completely flipped. So I think this is why I went for a Desmond, because it's kind of like my begrudging. I'll give Leeds something because I think they might actually deep down win this game, but I don't want them to. So I went for my first Desmond. What did you do, Mr. Fence Panel FC?
Well, funnily enough, I also went for a Desmond.
Oh, wow.
Desmonds are like buses. You're waiting for ages for one, and then they all come along together.
Chris is singing that infamous song, isn't he? He's going, draw, draw, draw. How do you like it? How do you like it? I will never sing again. I'm sorry. Steve, what were you going for, Steve?
I don't know.
Moving on.
Making a note of that time because that is getting clipped.
Why do I do this to myself? Why do I do this?
That particular song that you were basing it on was More by Andrea True Connection. And Andrea True was actually an American porn star who sang that while she was in Jamaica. But then when she was in Jamaica, them and America fell out over money. So she couldn't import the money she made from the sex advert she was making. So she decided to release a song, and that song was because it's How Do You Like It? How Do You Like It? More. Oh no, I'm not casting any aspersions on why you knew that song.
It's a song that I've just randomly heard, and it's stuck with me. I just knew it. In fact, I know. No. I can tell you where I remember it from, especially. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Mo Sislak has that as a dating thing, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. That's going down a dark tunnel to my Simpsons knowledge there. But moving on, the fact that it's American.
I'm not lowering the tone. It's called being informed. This show is educational, as well as entertaining. And
Oh, it is.
a true fact.
Yeah, we have trivia time, but we just don't advertise it. We just slam these facts out for you guys, and you get amazed by it.
Yeah,
I mean, he must
be
be.
true story. But I've gone 2-2 for me. I am going to go 2-0 to Leeds for Steve.
Well, Doug, you're copying Doug's homework then. So you know, the way Doug's going in the league somehow, I can guarantee that'll be right. So I might as well just give Steve 3 points with his prediction and mine. Scott, I like the cut of your jib, mate, because you had more about you than I did in doing it. He's gone dirty Leeds to Watford 3. Right. I'm not saying that we like to bully and harass certain people on this channel. We never do such a thing. We don't condone it, do we? But if anybody wants to take some rotten tomatoes, I'm just letting you know. I'm just leaving it up there that a certain Anthony, who was over 24 hours late, is at the King Power tomorrow. Gents and lads, he says, have got a minibus. My brother-in-law got my ticket. So, if assuming Anthony here, you'll obviously be in that Bristol City end and not in the home supporters end. If you're feeling like you're sat next to him at the game and you want to get rid of some mouldy veg, don't throw it in the waste bin. Take it to the King Power and look for Anthony. We don't condone violence on this show. I'm just suggesting these things might happen.
Can I just say I am actually impressed that Bristol City away fans are able to fill a minibus.
I'm surprised Bristol City fans can with them. Yeah, Bristol City and getting in there and that.
Fair play to them. Can I just say I was watching the highlights from midweek on ITV4, and is Mr. Pearson on crutches?
I don't know. I did not notice. I didn't watch it on ITV4.
Right, it didn't say anything. It was just obviously they show different clips, don't they, of the game, and that was just them coming out. And I'm sure Mr. Pearson was on crutches. If he was, all the best, Nigel.
Of course. If he was, all the best on the recovery. We're just hoping on the game day, Mr. Pearson, please, if one of the Leicester players does come careering into you and take you off your crutches, don't try and strangle him to death like you did a Palace player once upon a time. Please don't do that. We still love you here. And Doug, Scott, you said Chris lowers the tone. Well, this is just an awful joke. I tripped over my wife's bra. It was a booby trap.
I think Doug's just out to make a tit of himself tonight.
He really is. And I bet he's feeling like a right nipple now, isn't he, for that?
That's not a saying.
Oh, God. Scott says, that's it. I'll get me rotten vegetables and I'm going to get practicing now. No, don't practice with them. Take them with you. Go and get a tennis ball and set some targets up. Don't waste.
Allegedly.
Wow, yeah.
Yes.
Allegedly, that's what they all say.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this silly thing called the prediction show. In fact, you know what I have just noticed, Mr. Christopher, is we haven't got what I want up on the screen, or I really, really want. It's not a Spice Girl moment, but I could go for a Ziggy Zaggar, but that's a different thing. I've just realised that people that are tuning in wondering what show it is they're watching haven't been able to see it. And still can't see it according to my screen. There we go. Just in case you didn't know what, if you thought we're just randomly saying scores and randomly talking about a random game, no, we're not. We are doing a prediction show, and you can all see that now. Back to that in mind, I'm going to skip over a game on the listings here, because if you were watching there and you're going rubbing your hands thinking, here we go, we're going to talk about Leicester and Bristol City next, you don't know the channel. We're a Leicester channel. We're going to make you wait for that. We're going to leave you in suspenders. We're going to go to two teams in a bit of turmoil. And I'm going to say that in one take. I'm impressed with myself because there's a lot of T's there to say, and I got them all completely and totally right. Middlesbrough versus Southampton. One team has a manager that some wanted here, despite the craziness of how unsuccessful they've been, in Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough. And Southampton are on... Don't say it, Brad. Southampton are on... Don't say it, Brad. Southampton are on free fall 3-4 with three defeats. Hey, you see what I did there? I did it. Thank you. I'm here all week. No, they've also on the bounce, Chris, and it's got to be concerning. I mean, we discussed it on the preview show that had results gone opposite for us, this would be a crunch game and a lot of pressure on it. Southampton away from home, maybe it's what they need after 2 home defeats in back-to-back. They need a away game. But this is a Borough side that desperately need 3 points. This could be, I would say that this is a game that if the home team lose, we could see a sacking in the Championship. And it's a game that if whoever loses, if one of them does indeed lose this game, their fans are going to start to get real worried going into their form. Chris, how have you gone for it? And how many goals are in your draw?
You jumped over my next draw, or has he?
See.
Yeah. No. I mean, they sold the striker Middlesbrough, and then they wonder why it's difficult for them to score goals. And that's the problem with being in the position that clubs like Middlesbrough are, is that you do well because of not necessarily just one player. We know it's not one player team, but one player comes along, like Maddison at Norwich, and does really, really well, changes the whole outlook of the team and how they're playing, and then moves on, and then suddenly like, what we're going to do now? They obviously haven't replaced him. I was watching, I don't know who they were playing, Cardiff, I think it was, on the telly last night, and it was awful to say the least. I mean, I don't think Middlesbrough had a shot until the 47th minute. But I don't think he will go if they lose tomorrow in Middlesbrough. But I think he may get the dreaded vote of confidence. Southampton, well, I mean, according to all the bookies, it was us, Leeds and Southampton that were going to be fighting for the top 2 positions. And Southampton have really kind of disappeared down the radar, haven't they? I'm surprised. However, I think this is when Southampton get themselves back on track. And I am going to go for a 2-0 Southampton win for myself.
You have gone for a 2-0 win to the Saints. See, this is weird, isn't it? You said that about Leicester and Leeds and Southampton in there. It's weird how this game of football works, because whilst Leeds and Southampton have had similar starts to the season in terms of their collective results, it's probably better for Leeds than it is for Southampton, because Leeds, you can kind of go, okay, we had a bad start. We can accept that because of this, and all this is going on, as long as we pick it up. And now they've picked it up, they're a bit more cheerful. They're slowly catching up. I think you said they were 9th in the league. So they're getting there slowly up to where they should be. But if you're a Southampton fan, you had such a good start, and now you're losing, the worry does go in there. And for me, we've seen how they play. They've got a bit of Brendan-itis with their manager, who's stubbornly defending his own way, even though it's clearly not working for them. And for that reason, I've backed Middlesbrough to go and get a huge 3 points here. And I've gone for Middlesbrough to really put the pressure on the Saints to keep them marching downwards. And I've got Middlesbrough 3, Southampton 1. How's Steve seen this, though? Because we know what Steve's like, the mastermind is.
Yeah. Steve, unfortunately for Steve, he's seen it the same way you are, that this could be the time for Middlesbrough to actually get something. And I suppose from Middlesbrough point of view, they've got to look at this match and go, okay, so this is Southampton, one of the big boys that came down, but look at the form they're in. Now, if they've got to look at some of these games, Middlesbrough, and think, well, they can't start winning some of these. They haven't won yet this season. 3 teams haven't won yet this season in the Championship. And funnily enough, they're all in the bottom half. Or they're all in the bottom 3, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go, it's going to be a tight, but I'm going to go 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
Steve Lynex has channeled and is in the inner reports to Chris, and he has gone 1-0 to Middlesbrough. Anthony, I am very, very shocked. Breaking news, something has happened for the first time ever. Because while Southampton do play in red, they are 50-50. It's red and white, Southampton. He's given a win to Southampton against a team that plays predominantly in red. Is the allegiance of the red teams dying in Anthony?
I know he's a Bristol City fan, so all I can say is bird brain.
Well, there is that.
See what I did there?
I know. I see what you did. You're going to feel like a right.
Surprised that they're going to turn up in a minibus and not in the Batmobile. Batman and Robins.
It feels like a right breast at the moment, doesn't it? Oh, for God's sake. Told you, bro. I don't know. Maybe he just shouts random scores out at people. He hasn't said what game. I'm guessing he's on about the same one that we're talking about here.
Welcome back. Where have you been?
Yeah, Told you's just like 1-1, and people are like, "Why are you shouting 1-1 at me? Leave me alone." That's what he's talking about. The game in hand. Good to see you, Told you, bro. Good to have you in. Scott says apparently Bristol City fans have been warned to stay away from the King Power. Allegedly, there is a dangerous case of bird flu. Well, I know there might be the robins, but this might end up like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I'm good at these. Some people think I make this up as well.
We may see the robins becoming birds of prey and praying for salvation.
Yeah, birds of prey. I like that. I like that, Chris. Well, we are the robins. Yeah, you are.
How many birds have we got left to go?
I don't know. I had a joke into my head, and I remembered I'm broadcasting live. Do not take that joke. Leave that joke away.
Because robins obviously are very much they're recognised as Christmas birds, as in like turkeys are, and they always get stuffed at Christmas. So maybe the robins will get stuffed tomorrow.
Oh. Maybe your spotters are just looking at the robins like a tasty little snack before Halloween. You know, maybe it's trick or treat on the robins because we are the colour orange, so we have the supremacy on that one around.
Yeah.
So now we've done that, we've got the battle of the greens in a sense. I don't know. All right, Norwich green and yellow, which is hilarious. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but a parody of the fact that Norwich City scarf sellers will just go to Old Trafford to sell their scarves there to the protesters. I think that's genius. But Plymouth took a bit of battering in the midweek against, funny enough, our opponents, Bristol City. They lost 4-1. But a team that came up, maybe they had that new promotion bounce and it's slowly wearing off, but they'll be looking to balance their form books out a little bit against a toothless Canaries. We've gone from one bird to another. You could say these two birds have a cockle too. So who knows? Hey, I try and make as many bird references as I could. I say I could fit that one in without it being obscenely rude. I'm sorry. Like Anthony says, I'll bring back Steve. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye. That's something sweet in there. Plymouth, Plymouth, who are sponsored by
I've got one, but I'm not sure I can get away with it. Might leave it till the end.
Plymouth, who have a sponsor of an abomination of a company that think they know how to make pasties when they don't, are at home to Norwich. How do you see Ginksters? Oh, I'm don't get me wrong. I can eat them. I'm not saying they're awful because they're not. And that'd be honest. But an actual genuine pasty, they are not. They could no. Go to the actual South Coast. Get yourself a genuine handmade pasty. They are a
Cornish company, aren't they?
They think they are. They're not. You know. It's like that distant cousin that thinks he's related to, but really he's just estranged. Well, Plymouth is estranged to the pasty industry. Ginksters is estranged to the pasty world. Moving on before I upset a lot of Cornish folk who may or may not see this. I just realised that thinking to myself about my own family. Plymouth versus Norwich, Chris. Where have you gone with it?
I think I actually had a bit of a should we call it a Steve moment here, because I can't. I'm looking at my predictions and I'm looking at it thinking, what the hell did I do predicting that? But seeing as I haven't received those yet, I am actually going to give you what I probably should have given you. I think I just got them the wrong way round. I'm going to go Plymouth 1, Norwich 3.
Sorry, was that yours or was that Steve's? We're going
That's
for.
mine. That's mine.
So we're going Plymouth. We're going Plymouth 1, Norwich 3. Okay, everything seems reasonable on that one. I mean, I did go for a 2-1. I did go 2-1 Plymouth Norwich. Sorry. So far so good.
Yeah, well, I'd gone 3-1 to Plymouth when I sent it to you, and I don't know why. But look, I managed to get that changed, so that's good. From Steve's point of view, I don't think he could have seen anything in this other than a Norwich win. He's going to go 1-0 Norwich.
Oh, see, I thought that might be the game where Steve goes for like his Watford to beat Manchester United sort of predictions like he did in the Premier League. But maybe one later is coming. I'll tell you what.
Up at a match that we might be coming back to.
Maybe. Well, hold your horses here. We have. Do we have the right? Do we have the right video? Find it for me. He says, Brad, use your inner wisdom. Do we have it? Do we have it? We do have it here. We have some of this. No, the breaking news is not the fact that Told You Bro had a result there. It is something that we all need to clip. Chris, note down the time. It is just coming up to 46, 45. Breaking news. For the first time ever, Anthony is potentially going to virtually open his wallet because he says here, we're seeing, this is live, guys, this is true. We are clipping this, we're screenshotting it, doing whatever you need to remind him. I'm going to put this back to him. Anthony says, when Bristol City win, I will send a £2 super chat for a box of tissues for you. Okay, Anthony, we will take that. We shall remind you of this. And I say this to you, Anthony. If you lose, I think you should double your super chat and put a box of tissues in there for yourself. Anthony, that's what we want to hear from you. Will you do that if you win? And if you lose, will you do what I've said to you? There you go, Chris. We've got all the evidence we need.
Well, Anthony, that they've got to be a new box of tissues, not one that you've already opened and used. And because I'm sure you won't have been using them for tears.
Oh, wow. Definitely not after the midweek result, was he, for them? No. Scott's gone Plymouth 2, Norwich 4. I'm from a neutral. That's going to be a great game to see if Scott's prediction's going by it. Scott reminding, you tell him, Scott, saying there, if you lose, you'll go back to sport one of your million of Red Cross.
We love you, Anthony, really, you know that.
And Anthony, you're a bellend. I don't have the button. Chris has removed it from my powers be, but he says here, Chris, can I predict one of them? Well, it'd help if you predicted your own right, mate, because if it wasn't for some lucky last-minute goals, you'd be very much.
I have got this for him, though, Brad. I'll play this.
Oh, go on, Chris, to save the day.
This is for Anthony.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
There we go.
Can't do that. I mean, you say that, but your wife has told me, Anthony, that you don't even get past the intro. She doesn't even mind. You get the preview, the 60-second preview beforehand before you have to turn it off. So don't worry about wasting your 5 minutes, mate. You'll use them wisely, I'm sure. Anyway, moving on from again, we do not condone bullying and violence. And if you have suffered with any traumas from this show, Chris will find a banner for me to put the number up on screen for the Samaritans, because that's where he might need to be for Anthony's sake. But again, whilst you're allowed to quick edit yours going on at the moment, Rotherham versus Preston, top of the league against the team all the way in New York, which is still England, but it's the New York Stadium they play at. Rotherham, surprising a few, getting a few scouts, a few wins here and there, not doing as bad as maybe people thought they would have predicted. But are Preston finally going to do it? I've mentioned this before. They've had a good few seasons. They've drifted off near that just over halfway point, and that stopped them getting in the playoffs a few seasons. They've started well again. Tabletop in Preston. Are they going to keep that spot?
Well,
Away to Rotherham?
You've got to say it would be a strange man to bet against that happening. But let's be honest with you, there's a lot of strange men in this chat and show, isn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, not saying that Scott's strange as you say that, and I'll bring his comment up, but he has predicted 1-0 to Rotherham. Sorry, Scott. It's just how it works.
That's how the shit goes down, Scott. Preston, they haven't lost this season. Fuck her off, Preston. Just what the bloody hell are you doing? Just get out of our hair. No, in fairness, I don't mind Preston. I've a team I like. I can remember when I lived in Burnley. Preston were the team that I went to. Of course, they used to have the football museum there, and was able to take the boys round that. And whenever they played Leicester, it was very easy to park, and say they had the museum to go round. And it was always one of the family fixtures, so the kids went for £1. It was always good value, and of course,
Yeah, you could sell kids for £1 back then. Don't tell some of the parents these days.
I know. I wanted more for mine. That was the trouble. But yeah, it was. You put me off now. But they also had Paul Gallagher playing for them for what seemed like a millennium, and he was one of my favourite players. Loved his penalties. That said, I have a soft spot for Rotherham as well. Not because of Gurinder, but
raw.
Because don't start me off. But because Julian Watts, because that's his local team now. On that, but they've only won one this season. Rotherham, they've drawn one. They've lost 5. They only won one in the last 5. They're down in 21st place. They are going to struggle. I would like to see Preston lose, but I cannot see it happening. And I have gone for Rotherham 1, Preston 3.
You've gone for a big win for the table toppers. Is this going to be one that you put in Steve in the shot corner and he's going for his heart over his head, or are we just same way this time round?
Let's ask the audience. Does the audience think that Steve is going to go for a Preston win?
Well, very interesting and also be very Steve-like, but people may.
He's so out of tune, Brad. He just can't keep up with this. I feel like I'm in a different time zone. I'm in the same country.
I know. I'm just about to say you could do the time warp again right here, because I just start and then it cuts me off, and then you guys have been sat there for 3 or 4 seconds.
I'm going to go for Steve as this being the one where Steve says, I like Northern football, and I want to see the strugglers do well, and I'm going to go 1-0 Rotherham.
Oh, he's going for 1-0. He's going for 1-0.
Wow. I am.
He is. Well, that is that. You know what? If you want to say pay homage to the man, that is how you do it. To be honest with you, because for anyone who's a regular watching these shows, you will know that is not saboteur material. He really has gone for some obscure ones, and the frightening thing has been, even though it never really did anything for him in terms of the league at the point, was we take the piss out of him and then they go and win, wouldn't they? I still remember that Watford one where we took the piss out of them and then they beat them 4-0 or 4-1. It's like, how do you do that, Steve? I wish you did it more so. Channeling.
That was the thing. He didn't do it, enough time to get above bottom.
Or he'd do it too much and it'd backfire. He goes like,
waving to get those 15 points.
Yeah. So it took him long enough to get them on here, even if he is ahead of me. But there you go. Anyway, moving on to a team that again is struggling, and
you below Steve Lynex.
I know. Hey, look, you've got to make him feel better. He said he's going to send me. He said once I tell him what size I am, what size I am. I don't think it doesn't mean in general. I hope he means what he asked for. But he says he'll send me some of his stuff if I give him the sizes. So I've got to be nice to him and keep him ahead of me until it arrives in the post. Yeah. But moving on, we go all the way down to the valleys of Wales, where Swansea. Having a great season, Chris. I believe they're one of the 3 teams you said that haven't won a game yet this season. And they're playing Sheffield Wednesday, who maybe at the moment are facing a little bit of karma because they had that wholesome moment, didn't they, where I think they were 4-0 down against Peterborough in the playoffs. They were dead, they were buried, and they somehow came back to 4-0, and then in extra time it went 4-1. You thought their race had run, they'd run out of steam, and then they get promoted, and then they sack their manager. And yeah, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I feel like a bit of football karma's really hit Sheffield Wednesday for a little bit here because Darren Moore is now the Huddersfield manager. He will be taken over from Steve Warnock.
Neil Warnock.
Neil Warnock. I don't. Why do I go and say Steve Warnock every time?
Steve, he's taken over.
I know, but I don't know why I never say Neil Warnock. Every time I think of the manager, I always go and say Steve Warnock, which was a player, wasn't it? I'm sure it was.
It was.
I don't know.
I believe. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
But no relation to Neil.
No relation. It's like Darren and Marcus Bent, isn't it? No relation, just last name. But as I was saying, winless Swansea against luckless Sheffield Wednesday, if you will. I have gone for just to make you feel better before you make your decision. I went for well, I couldn't put between them. I went and sat on Chris's fence panel, and I went 1-1. So does Chris do a Chris special and go for a draw or?
Well, get off my fucking fence first of all. It's not your fence. What are you doing in my fucking back garden, you weirdo?
I've come to say hi.
Look, this is 22nd against 23rd. Neither of these teams have won a game yet. Swansea, 3 draws. Sheffield Wednesday, 2. Sheffield Wednesday, we're always going to find it hard because you are always playing catch up when you win the playoffs because you've got less time to sort of know whether you're going to be up or down, so who you can bring in, who's available, what money you're going to have. Something went on there at Sheffield that we'll probably never know. Be interesting to see how Darren Moore does get on at Huddersfield. But look, if this was on Match of the Day, this would be the boring 0-0 at the end, given about 30 seconds. So I've gone for a 0-0.
Well, it's funny you say that. So I've gone 1-1. You've gone 0-0, and also Scott get like the cut of this man's jib because he's agreed with me. He thinks it'll be the game that is a bore on ITV4. He has gone Swansea.
Agreed with me. He's gone 0-0.
I knew that. So I was testing you. He's gone 0-0. See, I just meant he'd gone for a draw, right? I forgot you'd actually gone 0-0. I was that set up in my head. Oh, well, no, I meant told you, bro. I like the cut of his jib. I was just testing Scott, making him think he was special. Why are you doing that for, Chris? Told you, bro, agrees with me completely. And has gone 1-1 in the Wales.
He saved his neck.
Yeah, thank God for that. Cheers, told you, bro. But Steve, is he sitting on the fence? Are we making him free sitting on the fence?
Steve's going to go for a Desmond. He's going to go for a 2-2.
Oh, I tell you what, it's almost like you thought, I want to go draw. Brad's gone 1-1. I've gone 0-0. So the next best thing is Desmond. And of course, not to be outshone, Anthony.
Treat.
Stop trying to be bigger and better than everybody else. All right, you're not big and it's not clever. All right, because saying three.
I've spoken to his wife.
Well, apparently it's not clever either. I've spoken to her as well, so it's neither nor. It's neither either. Now, we'll move on to the next game, which is the former, and I will say the former Yo-Yo Club, because of certain Norwich, you could argue have that title more than Norwich with their unfortunate histories in promotions to the Premier League and relegations. But the bag is are at home to a team that's not just hated by themselves, by everybody else, but on a bad night out was probably hated by their own fans. To be honest with you, it is of course West Brom at home to Millwall. Where do you see this one going, Chris? Because this is a weird one to call when these two teams seem to meet up.
Yes, I've actually gone 1-0 to West Brom on this one. I know West Brom are below Millwall, but I just hate Millwall. I'm sorry, I'm that's the only excuse I've got. I hate Millwall, and I would vote for the Rochdale if they were playing them at the same time. 1-0. I'm doing a Steve I'm having a Steve Arsenal Spurs moment.
Oh, there you go. You've gone for a casual 1-0. I have not been so gracious. I think this is one of them games where people might expect a draw. They maybe expect Millwall to cause an upset. And I think West Brom are going to absolutely smash them. I've actually gone 4-0. So if anyone's gone for 3 or 4-0 and they realise who else has gone for that prediction, they may have the head in the hands and hoping that I'm right for once, because I've gone 4-0. Is Steve matching you on that one as well? Are we cutting him down for another 1-0?
No, he's not. He is going to go 1-0 Millwall.
That's what he's going to go for. He's going for. I don't know. I don't know if Steve will like you for that. Oh no!
Well, he should have been here then, shouldn't he?
Well, he should have. He should have. That is very true. He should have been. He can't. Don't hate the game. Hate the game, not the player, as I say. Millwall 0, West Brom 2 is what Scott's gone for. And the only thing that's been right about Anthony to come out of his mouth, or from his keyboard, I should say, to be more correctly, is I hate Millwall 2. Although you've spelled 2 wrong, it's the wrong use of 2. But you can't get it. You can't be perfect, mate.
I think it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for a quick advert break.
It definitely is.
We should have a look at this for a second. How nice does that look? I'll just leave it there until Brad catches up in his time zone.
I can't take it off the screen anyway, mate. So it's all good.
Can't you?
But,
let's carry on then, everybody. If you
no, because Chris, we have a duty of care to this channel, as you know, and I just need to have a question for you.
There we
what
go.
Do you think
if you can't take it off the screen, then hey.
What do I have in common with this?
What is it?
I'll tell you what. It's a shameless plug. I'm going to write the word shameless on it one day. I've got a shameless plug, because if you're wondering on what podcast platforms you may wish to check us out on, then here's where you can find us.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes.
Anytime today you want to play, here's where you can find us.
Yes, it did play. And then
it's not playing my end, for fuck's sake.
Okay, let me sort it out for you.
I throw my phone across the bloody thing. I play the other one and then the TalkSport one.
Podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Something is coming. Something big to this podcast.
Hello, Chris.
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
And we're back. I don't know if Brad is.
They're so annoying.
Hello, this is the UK calling. We have the votes from the UK jury.
God, there'd be a delay in announcing my bloody death if it happened on this show, the way it's going. It's ridiculous.
Everybody, Brad died 5 hours ago.
This is a pre-record. You don't even know what happened to me.
This is live. It hasn't caught up with us yet.
Well, we move straight on. We've got a team whose ingenious nickname was to do pottery, isn't the Potters, and we've got the Tigers. It's the Battle of the Stripes. It's the Battle of the City while Chris composes himself. We have Stoke City against Hull City. Let's get through this, Chris. What have you got written down for it?
I've gone 3-2 Hull. Let's just.
You've gone 3-2 Hull.
I've gone 3-2 Stoke. Sorry.
Oh well, I'll dock your points for an FFC. I think I might have gone. Oh no, I went 1-0 Hull, who are doing quite well, but it's Stoke, isn't it? They're like the Brussels sprouts of the championship. Very few people like them, and they always seem to stink the room out once you get round to them, and they just stink this division out. In fact, you could rename the division after any team that's in it. Stoke would be what we'd be playing. Would we be playing in the Stoke City League the way they're going?
Yeah.
What are you going for, Steve?
Go 1-0 to Hull.
Oh, I see what you're doing. It's like lazy journalism, ladies and gentlemen. He's run out of ideas to recreate results. So what he's doing is he's saying one for himself. He's looking at what he's gone and goes, if I just say the same score but opposite team to win, it'll work out. Oh, I thought better of you. Scott, he's gone for a big win for. He's gone 3-1. Anthony, I thought you bloody left, but we don't always get what we asked for, mate. We don't always get what we wish for here. And a comment came up just as I pressed that. This is how delayed I am. Chris has probably read Told You Bro's coming 40 minutes ago, and I'm only just seeing it. But he says here, I like Millwall. Oh, I just read the words, I like Millwall. No, go away. We don't need that comment on here. Anthony, you struggle to get between... You've missed something very important in your comment here, Anthony. He's put here, silly Anthony's put, I'm getting 25 points this week. There's supposed to be a dash between the 2 and the 5 because that's how many points you do average. You do average between 2 to 5 points. Silly Anthony, he did this last week with the 1 and the 5 for his 15 he said he was going to get, which he never gets.
Can I just say, Brad, I'm going to be going Birmingham City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Oh, yes. Birmingham 1, Queen's Park. Yes, we'd already done that game. We did that at the start because it was a...
No, we did. It's because you're that far behind. You're that far
I know. I know. We're not behind. We're fine. So, Chris, the midweek game, obviously we finally got here, but it's Norwich versus Leicester. How do you see it going?
Yes.
Look at there. My brain's not with it.
To work it out.
I told you it's not live. No, you know what? You had me panicking that I hadn't asked you it because it's obviously.
Oh, you checked, I know.
I'm going bed. Leave me alone. Right, we've got 2 games left before we circle back round to the biggest game of the weekend. So let's get through these 2 very quickly. Sunderland versus Cardiff. Teams really go and win, lose, control. I mean, talk about the most borderline flatlining teams in there, I believe, with their form. Sunderland at home.
Sunderland are in 4th. They're not doing too badly. I'd got them as being one of the teams that would be up there fighting. I'm going to be honest with you. They've won 4, drawn 1, lost 2. Cardiff are sort of mid-table. 10th place, 10 points, won 3, lost 3. I've gone, believe it or not, breaking news, everybody. I've gone for a 2-2.
He's gone for a Desmond. He'd starved the public of a draw for about.
You may have noticed the theme by now.
I might just have noticed the theme a little bit. It's only. I'll see if people have cottoned on if they've been listening. To it, but I mean, you starved the public of a draw for at least 2 fixtures there. So well done you on bringing yourself back into base with a fence. We'll call you. We'll call you Chris the Fence Forian at the end of this. At the end of this, this way it's going.
Do you want to buy some watches?
Oh no, I don't know about that. I mean, Scott's gone for an absolute
necklaces.
Sure. Scott's gone for a hell of a game here. He's gone 4-3 to Sunderland. Anthony, no, you're not getting 25. Not even if you paid me. Bellingham for a brace. I mean, what is in the genes of the Bellinghams? They've got so many talented children coming out, but they're great. And Birmingham had Judy's now at Real Madrid. Pretty ridiculous. And told you, bro, it's gone 3-0 Sunderland. So I think it'd be fairly comfortable. So now we've got the manner of. I like it, Brad. That's a brilliant name for Chris. Well, I do try and be very clever and creative, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sunderland versus Cardiff. Well, you've gone for a Desmond. What are we doing for Steve, though, before we move on to the penultimate game?
He's going to go 2-0 Sunderland.
He's going to go 2-0 Sunderland. Well, here we are, the penultimate game. The curtain closer is on the fixture list officially, but it's the penultimate one for us here. It's some minor team that's mediocre on the M69, and they are, of course, at home to Huddersfield, who, in very weird circumstances, just casually, the man who saved them, who's got them on some good form, Neil, not Steve, someone said Neil Warnock has been sacked, relieved himself of the duties. I don't know.
If he's been relieving himself, then he needs.
I don't know. Well, he could have. Well, I mean, he might have relieved himself, but but you know what I mean. It's just. Bradley Thornton needs to clean, mate. Anthony, can shut up.
Views expressed by the host of this show are not necessarily those of Leicester Till I Die TV. That's just for the lawyers have asked me to just point that out. But yeah, I'm not sure what
trying to throw you off, mate. Is it working?
You did, because I've now got that picture in my mind, and I just.
Why are you thinking of it? I might have said it, but you're thinking of it. That's more disturbing. Coventry versus Huddersfield. So just have that image ingrained in your head of Neil Warnock. I don't
want to go to sleep with the image of you relieving yourself in my grave.
I didn't say I did. I said maybe he relieved himself. I was on about Neil Warnock from the duties of care of Huddersfield. You'd want to make it dirty and disgusting, sir. I don't know where your head's at. Get it out of the gutter. But no Neil Warnock.
I know what you meant.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm innocent.
Well, this is...
No Neil Warnock, Darren Moore at the helm, Coventry, Huddersfield. Yeah.
16th, played 7, won 2, drawn 2, lost 3. Coventry, wow. Do you remember when Huddersfield lost the playoff and they really struggled the following season?
Yes.
And, well, Huddersfield played 7, won 1, lost 4, drawn 4, which have been the last 4, to be honest with you, they've drawn, lost 2. I thought Coventry would be up for it this season, but then again, that must have been Neil Warnock, allegedly. But I'm surprised at Coventry how badly they're doing. Yes, they had a lot of loan players which they weren't able to keep because they decided it was better to go to a much better East Midlands team. Doyle. But look, 16th versus 17th. I've gone for a 0-0.
He's gone for a ball on ITV4. He's gone for a last of the day match. He's gone Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0. Is Steve being more exciting or?
Well, only a little bit. Steve's going to go. He's going to go 1-0 Coventry.
Oh well, luckily he's not here to defend himself, and you've removed the button. Otherwise, he would get a customary bell end for doing that. Scott's been a bit more adventurous in the scoreline. He thinks Huddersfield will be putting on a show for their new manager, who will be in the stands for the game. He probably had a training session with them, so they'll be looking to impress. He's gone 3-1 to Huddersfield. Told you, bro, essentially, yeah. Wow, didn't know Darren Moore is the new Huddersfield boss. That was quick. Yeah, the way he kind of just announced that he was leaving Neil Warnock. He had. I actually went and watched his press conference because I thought it's got to be a strange one. It's going to be a little bit weird, and it was a little bit. He basically said, "Yeah." I said I'd stay until things were moved on and things need to be changed. So obviously they've been working in the background, and you know what? we've said this before, haven't we, Chris? I think it happened at, funny enough, Leeds, wasn't it, where they sacked Bielsa and then within an hour or so, a couple of hours or so, they were announcing a new manager. And I've always said that's very disrespectful. I'm not saying it seems very disrespectful how certain managers could get announced that they're sacked and within the same day they're already replaced. And it goes, did he know that that was going on behind him? At least Neil Warnock showed us that there's no real grace between him and Huddersfield. He was already very aware that eventually this would happen to him, and that's what he kind of wanted. He did say in his interview he was a little bit disappointed it happened a bit earlier, but he understands totally why, because he wanted to get to Christmas and then allow the new manager the January window to sort of take over from his start. But it has happened. It is going in. And that's how they have to go for it.
Just to play devil's advocate, I think any team, and this should have happened with Rodgers, and this is what, when you don't plan, what happens is that, you've got a manager who is underperforming, and to have somebody that you can bring straight in, I think is fantastic and shows you prepared. And, you want to say, look, if this guy doesn't improve, we come to you. Are you interested? Yes, fine. You're out of a job, so there's nobody's getting, in trouble or whatever. The guy's not working at the moment. So, to my mind, it shows a club on top of things.
It does. It shows they're organised. They know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly what trajectory they want, and. You feel with his experience and his knowledge in this division and how good he really can be, there's no way they would. I know, Totally Levy and Horn Football podcast here says this is underwhelming choice at Town from Carl. I'm guessing that's the person who posted it, and he gone, don't be surprised if
Carl's the Leeds fan that we have on.
Yes, of course it is. Hi, Carl. I was trying to think. I was like, I'm sure it's got to be the person who's posting, not that he's saying that he's on first name basis with the guy at Town. I don't know, because there's no reason you get rid of Neil Warnock and move him on if you don't think Darren Moore's capable to do the job, like you said, Chris. Yes, he's an experienced man, but now this is very controversial. You're talking about the man who managed Sheffield United and has a very affectionate side towards Sheffield United, almost a complete opposite with Jamie Vardy and his Sheffield Wednesday connection and his hatred for Sheffield United. Neil Warnock has a lot of love and time and spent a lot of his career with Sheffield United. I would be very surprised if we saw Neil Warnock.
Can I just say to Carl, by the way, mate, your new Facebook profile picture looks very dodgy. You look like you were caught looking at the scantily clad ladies behind you. You've definitely got a guilty look on your face. I'll leave it at that. Say no more.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're going to say it off topic, but we're building up to the last game that we're going to do. It's a massive M69 Derby champions versus Bristol. Some team in Bristol. We'll pay them a bit more respect than that. But Scott, just quickly, Chris, I don't care. I think it's hilarious what's going on. I
don't give a shit, to be honest with you. It's Manchester United. It's not Leicester. Move on.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I just thought I'd put it out there. Me personally, if he gets sacked, it's hilarious. No, it does bother me. And just laughing off there is Carl in the comments. But we're here. The final curtain.
Bread's outside my window. My neighbour's messaged me twice. She's got me some bread because I've not been well, so I couldn't get to the shop. So she's looking after me, bless her. And she's left me bread outside my window. So if it starts to rain, I'm going to have to go off in a minute.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, we'll wrap this up. We'll talk about it. It's the big one. It's the Nigel Pearson derby. Yeah. Matty James, Andy King also there as well. 2 ex-Leicester players know well.
James is still playing. He got a goal, I think, the other day.
That's what I mean. He's still there. Yeah, he's still there with them, isn't he, Matty James and Andy King? I believe he's still playing for them. So lots of goodwill there in terms of he'll get a good reception, I'm hoping.
He will. He's got to get a good reception.
Yeah, I mean, we owe a great deal to him, not just the great escape, but the foundations he laid at that club and the mentality he left behind for Claudio is massive to our history. We won't get too mushy because we could talk about Nigel Pearson this time at Leicester all day long, and you've got to go and get some soggy bread if we don't. So, Chris, how many are Leicester winning by? just to piss Anthony off.
This is, can I be honest with you? I've got to get this lined up because I wasn't ready for it. But I've got a bit of this. I've gone 2-1 Leicester. Because we don't win many games 2-1, and I thought, well, let's be different.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will tell you before you give... Anthony, you couldn't have done a better scoreline here. Anthony, as I know from his predictions, and I can just double check that. Yes, he has gone for the same in that. Anthony's gone Leicester 2, Bristol City 3, which is kind of ironic because I've also predicted that it'll be a 5-goal thriller. But it won't. Well, I say a 5-goal thriller. I've gone Leicester City 5, Bristol City 0. You know what? I'm kind of glad that Anthony's been taking the piss and smug in his comments because I felt really smug saying that, and I really, really hope if I don't get any more correct results for the whole of the season, Anthony, I hope we win 5-0. I do.
Well, Steve,
I'm not bitter. I'm not sour. I don't hold it against you.
Steve is going to say he's very surprised. He thinks that half the Bristol team may be out at the weekend with nosebleeds because they're so high up the table. The problem is that I don't want them to do badly because of Nigel Pearson, and Andy King's the nicest player I have ever met. He just because he's had time for us. I have total 150% respect for Andy King, and Matty James, to my mind, was the better of the two midfielders than Drinkwater, but his injuries kept him aside. But Steve's going to go 9-0 Leicester. I'm sorry, Nigel, but no, seriously.
No, Spencer, 9-0. Let's go for it. I tell you what. I'll star it and I'll see what you say after the show. If Leicester ever at any point during the season 9-0 somebody, if you have backed Leicester to win, I will give out a bonus point. How's that sound, Chris? If we somehow win 9-0 against anybody in this division, you have to have backed Leicester to win. So not everybody will get them because we won't always back Leicester to win. But if they ever do win 9-0, it's a start. I think you'll get an extra point. So just because you put that out there, mate, there you go.
Can I just say, because there's comments coming in about Nigel. I mean, I love Nigel. You know that.
Yeah.
Time, ladies and gentlemen. I love Andy King. I've not met Matty James, so I can't say. But please,
lovely bloke. I met him.
Whether you get the Athletic, it's £1 a month. I had it £1 a month for 6 months. Then they extended it for another 12 months for me. The guy we have on this channel, Rod Tanner, he writes for Leicester City. Now it goes back. It's a thing that they put up back in May. I only found it today. I missed it at the time about Leicester's rise and fall. And
yes,
they do actually do it's Rob Tanner and somebody else, and they do a piece as part of that. It's it's about a 10-minute read, to be honest with you. I got a big ring on my bottom because I was sat on the bog at the time. But the time that they wrote about the Pearson time, and they went through into his ostrich and his attacking of the player, Crystal Palace player, and all that. It's such a good read, and do please go and read it if you haven't. It is worth, for £1 a month. I tell you what, it's the best value on the net. But that story was absolutely brilliant.
Oh well, there you go, guys. I mean, it is something I need to get on board with. You've always said great things about it, and for £1 a month, even I can afford to do it. I'm sure everybody else can. But I know you said it jokingly, and that's created a little bit of a twisted rule into the leagues. What are you going for Steve's score? Because obviously I've gone big. You've gone for a 2-1 Leicester.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you were going to seriously take that. Right.
Oh, no. That just created a niche little thing that if 9-0 ever happens.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Steve. I fancy another 4-1 for Steve.
4-1. You know what? Even if it keeps me bottom, 4-1. Leicester winning. Andy King at the back stick gets one for Bristol City. Matty James assist. I'd take it. You know, that'd be a nice little Leicester contingent, wouldn't it? You know, Leicester score all the goals, even if it is 4-1. It'd be nice.
I don't want. I mean, I have a soft spot for. All joking aside, with Anthony, you know, I have.
I don't have a soft spot for Anthony. He can sod off. But yeah, I know where you're going with it.
I have a soft spot for Anthony. It's a pit in the bottom of the garden. Yeah, I've got to say, because no. In fairness to Anthony, he's like one of the family, the dog. Anyway,
no, we like the dogs. We like the dogs. Don't you mean the pests and creepy crawlers that are in the crevices?
But yeah, I mean, if this was Bristol Rovers, sorry, Anthony, if this was Bristol Rovers, I'd be saying the same. I just love a bit of Big Nige, and you know, and Andy King. I think he's on the coaching staff as well now, Andy King. And
yes, I believe so.
But yeah, I have great respect for all of them, and I don't think what happened would have happened. And we've said this so many times. Was it not for Big Nige?
Yeah, exactly. He's going to hold a fond memory in the heart of Leicester fans forevermore, and even those that never witnessed it will see it later on. And you know, Leicester fans of the future will be told about Nigel Pearson, one of the greatest managers, and you know he does hold that resemblance to some great managers. So yeah, we'll welcome him back, and then hope for 3 points as well at the weekend. But Chris, ups and downs like a roller coaster. We've thrown jibes and jabs at each other for the whole show, but like all good things, unfortunately, it has to come to an end. Chris, you are back tomorrow, Starlight and the watch along. Are you looking forward to being back in the hot seat on your own for the watch along? Because with different streams, we're not going to try and continue what we tried at midweek. Unfortunately, it would have been nice, but it's not going to work out like that. Are you looking forward to being all by myself?
The thing with watch alongs is because I've done them various ways where we've had 1 and 2 on, and the time difference is the big thing. It really is. Is that it's hard enough trying to keep the chat in line and saying to the chat, you know, don't give any spoilers out and what have you. And then, you know, at one point I think we were something like 3 or 4 minutes between us, and you can't. And it's not just your end; it's my end as well, because streams go down, and then you're waiting for one to load up. And but what is great is that you'll still be with us because you'll be coming in before the game, after the game, and at half time, giving your expert opinion. So looking forward to that. And yes, I'm looking forward to continuing. It's funny, this winning feeling, isn't it?
Yes, it's nice. You could say it also has us dancing on the ceiling, which hopefully, if certain results that have been predicted go our way, the way of some certain people's predictions, we could be on the roof of the championship, providing we better Preston's results. So we've got that all to look forward to, and then obviously we have the fallout background on the Monday with the Monday debate coming up, which I'll be back for. Hopefully Chris isn't caught out in a 26-mile rain dash to his car because he's not going the game this time. He will be sat at home.
That walk went on forever. The guy it's round the corner and a couple of 100 yards. Well, I'll tell you what, looking at the size of his couple of 100 yards, he must have a 12-foot fucking dick. Because it was like, absolute. He says, if you want, he said, if you want to stop and just take a break, fine. And he goes, because at one point he turns to me, he said, you all right? I'm not fucking stopping here. We're in the red light district, mate. Move on. Keep going.
Bloody hell, there we go. Well,
Southampton prostitutes. Not much to look at. No, when you move to Bristol, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear that apparently when he said it was only, he told Chris, he said to Chris, look, listen to this song and it will tell you how far it is. It won't take any longer than what these guys say about it. And Chris got all excited because thought, song about 2, 3, 4 minutes long at worst. Maybe one of them long ones that he's downloaded for me. No, it was the Proclaimers, 500 miles, wasn't it? So that's what took him so long. He said he'll keep walking.
Feel.
You certainly do, mate. And hopefully we can enjoy, keep marching on up the table. Finish my sentence would be great as well, wouldn't it? If I could get a word out properly, that would be great as well. But I just want to say, Chris, thank you ever so much for coming in and stepping into the shoes of Steve. As always, you do a great job for it. I don't know, checks in the post, mate. Don't worry about it. From Steve, not me. And to those of you that have joined in the chat throughout the show, even if you've just been lurking, we don't mind a lurking. No, as long as you're not perving and you're only lurking, that is great. Just make sure, guys, as we have come to this curtain closes here on the end of another prediction show, do remember to hit the like button and subscribe on your way out of the building. And until tomorrow, when the game kicks off, as we always say here, come on, you foxes. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Play.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.